is it possible that you might not be able to use Google search in the future? Could it be spun off? There was a judgment yesterday in a U.S. court. Let's take a look at the highlights here. Google has been deemed an illegal monopoly. That's the judge right there on the left-hand side. A landmark antitrust case ruling on their search dominance. No remedies were included in the ruling. Google has been paying its rivals for a default search option. That means when you use a competitive browser, they have paid those browsers to be able to be front and center when you punch in Arise News, Global Business Report. In fact, as far as searching is concerned, so Google pops up first. Now, they paid Apple about $18 billion to do that in 2021, according to the New York Times. The judge, let's take a look at what he said. Pretty short sentence as far as part of the 277-page ruling. He basically said that Google is a monopolist and it has acted as one to maintain its monopoly. Let's look at Judge Merrick Garland, who is the U.S. Attorney General. He responded to the ruling saying this is a victory against Google and it's a historic win for the American people. No company, no matter how large or influential, is above the law. The Justice Department will continue to vigorously enforce our antitrust laws. Is that a signal for other big tech companies? Let's listen to Google and their global affairs head, Kent Walker. He's the president of global affairs. He said this decision recognizes that Google offers the best search engine, but concludes that we shouldn't be allowed to make it easily available. Given this and that people are increasingly looking for information in more and more ways, we plan to appeal. Seye Ayinla, he's a partner, Duale, Ovia, and Alex-Adedipe. He joins us now to discuss. Seye, good to have you. Last time we had you on the show, we're talking Apple and their antitrust issues. So what do you make of this ruling?
So thanks for having me. Just to speak about the judgment, I'll use an analogy, right? So imagine I manufacture ice cream. I have over like 20 to 50 variants.
We love ice cream in this office.
Exactly, yeah. Which kids love a lot, right? Yeah. Then you have just 2 or 3 variants. And then I'll think, how can I push this ice cream to the market? What's my road to market? What I do is I can go to the biggest stores or the smallest stores or the most stores where I know kids really go. And I tell them, look, when kids come in, the first ice cream they must see is my brand of ice cream, right? And kids just get hyped on this, to get the high on the ice cream, keep buying. And I said, look, I didn't tell you to tell your personnel that the ice cream that they market the most should be
ice cream.
Well, yours is also available, right, but it's just somewhere down there.
They push Roto's ice cream to the back of the store,
at the back
and push Seye's ice cream in front.
Right in front. So once they come in and how the goods are placed. So for example, you can go into a store and you get an appeal just the way some goods are actually stocked, how they are arranged, the glossy cabinets, everything just appeals to you and you want to buy it. Yeah. And all that as we are working on the consumer side.
Psyche, yeah.
So that's exactly something like that happened in this case. So for example, you have Google, you have the Google search engine, right? And they have other competitors. There's Bing, there's Yahoo, there's DuckDuckGo. There are quite a number of them. But Google seems to have over 80% of market share, both in the EU, in the US, or even globally, by statistics as of maybe May 2024. Yeah. So the key question is, how will Google push the search engine down the market? So there are different ways they can do it, but the most veritable way they found was make sure that the Google search engine is the default on any of the devices. Right. So what they did was they now pay Apple, they pay Samsung and other original equipment manufacturers that, look, let Google be the default search engine, either by integrating into your search browser, right, or basically just putting the front page of your home screen. Now, once that is done, automatically consumers get high on that. They use that more, and I know humans are products of our habits, right? We just keep using. Once I'm accustomed to something, I keep using it. Yeah. So, and when I came last, you had asked a very, very important question, which was the fact that do we see the EU taking the front row in actually enforcing against tech companies? So what has happened in this Google case of yesterday, right? The judgment of yesterday. Actually, a similar judgment was given by the General Court of the EU about 2 years ago. It's called the Google Android case. So in that case, what they did, Google was trying to market the Android as an operating system, and it was paying original equipment manufacturers, even mobile network operators, a particular fees, either a revenue sharing agreement based on revs they get from ads, or basically I'll pay you a particular amount under the mobile application distribution agreement. You pay a particular amount for actually making my browser, or in that case, my operating system the default. Almost similar with this particular case. Payments were made to Apple, payments were made to Samsung, and all what other MNO OEMs to make sure that Google is the primary default application.
Fantastic. You sent me some Economist covers from the past. So I want to ask you what the takeaway from those covers, and also what this means for tech companies and for consumers as well. So I think we'll flash them on the screen over a bit of history. Yeah, so the new titans and how to tame them, that's a very important under that line from The Economist from years back. And we've also got another that talks about as the determinators. Europe takes on the tech giants. That's what we talked about last time that we had. You see the logos there: Apple, Google, Facebook, Amazon. And then, of course, I think there's one more which talks about, should government break up digital monopoly? So what's going to happen? I mean, there was no remedy in the case. So what could happen here?
Okay, so in that case, unlike the EU case, I think there was a fine of about over 4.3 billion euros.
Yeah.
Now, in this case, they reserved judgment for some couple of months. Now, under the U.S. antitrust regime, there's something called the treble damages.
Okay.
So under the EU, they'll actually fine you based on your turnover, but there's another which is more of a punitive measure of damages under the U.S. Right. So what I see happening is they most likely will be a fine, but more importantly will be the issue around some structural or behavioral remedies. Now, let's take an example. There was a time when also Microsoft was taken to court by making the Internet Explorer the default browser for Windows, Microsoft Windows. And also there was a court case, Netscape, and took them to court. And what they had said was they had to actually stop that from happening. So they had to stop making Internet Explorer the default browser. Now, fast forward a couple of years forward, it's now as though the Internet Explorer just
doesn't exist anymore, just disappeared.
Just disappeared.
Right, right.
So there is that, right? So, but you can't really say, was that as a result of the judgment, or was it the market forces based on better products, right? And the thing about it for Google, it all thrives on data, and it's a matter of skill. The more data I get, the more I'm able to provide tailored adverts to the consumers, right? So the more data, so it's all a matter of scale, more consumers, and it's like I think it's like a virtuous cycle, right? I get more data from the consumers, I feed it to the advertisers send more adverts, some want more. It all keeps going on and on and on. And the thing about it, and even interesting thing about that case was they actually relied on some behavioral economics, right? And they said that at times the way mobile applications are placed or making them default actually has an ultimate implication on consumers' decisions. Same thing in the Android case. Yes, there was some switching, right? There was some switching, but was it sufficient to actually make them actually not do what they, or to make services that good, right? In fact, there was a time, same in that this was about 286 pages, a very good read. And what they had said was there was actually an experiment by Google that if they had degraded quality, how much will they lose in terms of revenue and also consumer? Marginal, not that much. So how that will affect, I'm not too sure to have a significant impact, but with the tech world, nothing is actually straightforward. It's very dynamic. So, for example, 2016, we had Meta, we had Facebook, which was like the largest. And TikTok came in maybe 2016 thereabout. And as at the last decision, sometime given in May by the General Court of the EU, actually TikTok had more, even though TikTok doesn't have like an ecosystem, but they had almost half or even not half the users that are on Facebook. So, yes, Google as the dominant force right now, and the nuances that they will still keep enjoying that dominance, but the dynamism of the market is not so predictable.
Seye, we're out of time. Very quickly, AI. Yeah, I mean, we've seen rumblings now of antitrust going after, OpenAI, Microsoft. Do you see, will we have you back talking about this in a few years' time, about what of the AI dominance?
I'll say in a few months' time. In a few months.
Seye Ayinla, partner, Duale, Ovia, and Alex-Adedipe, thank you so much for shedding some light on this landmark decision on Google being deemed a monopoly. Appreciate your time.
Thanks a lot.